This is the Fairies known by the name of Man of Fairy, aka the Underdog for Underground. Back again, doing another Q&A on One Piece manga chapters 907 and 908. Let y'all know, spoilers will be told, so please proceed at your own risk. On that note, let's go. Alright, one of the first things I want to talk about is this Kaido Big Mom relationship. And we find out that Kaido and Big Mom has like some type of relationship that stems back to their days being on Rocks Pirates. And we see that coming to play with this conversation where Big Mom is letting Kaido know that she's going to his territory to look for Luffy or finish him off. And Kaido don't appreciate that because that's his turf. And as the conversation gets more interesting, we find out that Big Mom did a favor for Kaido, which Kaido wanted to basically brush off. So that's one of the things I want to ask y'all real quick is, what do y'all think this favor is that Big Mom did for Kaido? There was lots of speculations that was out there, some saying that Big Mom gave some of her soul to Kaido a long time ago when they were back on the Rocks Pirates. And others were saying that they had a love child with like Cat and Queen together, which I highly disagree on. But in the comment section below, let me know what y'all opinions on that. And as far as the whole Rocks Pirates thing, we find out as far as with Hina and talking to Gart, that's one of the most interesting things I want to discuss coming up right now. Alright, some of my thoughts on the Rocks Pirates based on the information we received. We found out that the Rocks Pirates, like before Roger, ran that era. And Big Mom and Kaido was a part of that crew. Like, them two alone right now is powerful enough as is because of Yonko. So, putting these two together is unstoppable right now. Now, to find out like 40 years before that, they was like Shanks and Buggy level, I believe. That's what I want to believe on this Rocks Pirates ship. That means everybody on the ship had to be on some OP Pirate King level status. And we found out that Garp took out the captain. I still believe the captain's in the picture. And I got an interesting theory on that I probably will post either this week or next week. That's going to blow everybody's mind. But here's my 2 cents. I believe, first of all, I believe that we will see Garp and WANO. Because I believe that this living legend, this Captain of Rocks Pirates, will show up in WANO. And I believe we will see Garp there because I think this is like a trap or a setup for the Navy. As we also seen, it was open communication that the whole Navy heard. And another interesting thing is we seen Kuzan was willing to go to WANO. Like, didn't care. He was like, fuck it, I go. And Sakatsuki had to tell him, like, no, chill, dog. We don't know how strong he is. That's another red flag because I think we already know Kuzan just don't give a fuck. But I think he probably got an important part to play or probably possible connection in Wano. So that's something I might make another theory about as well. But that's just my 2 cents because I'm thinking how Oda's setting it up. We probably will see these Captain of the Rocks and find out more about him and Wano. So the next thing I quickly want to talk about has to be what's going on right now in the Reverie with the Celestial Dragons and CP0. Alright, the whole setup that we got with Shirahoshi, the rest of Luffy's allies, and the Celestial Dragons and CP0 was kind of basically, like I said, a whole bunch of setup for something that's going to happen in the future. And one of the couple of things I like about this was basically we get the return of Rob Lucci, Kaku, now is officially confirmed as a part of CP0, Stussy, and we find out that they just there to tend the referee just like everybody else. And they heard the commotion of what was going on with Charlos and Shirahoshi and decided to butt in. But here's my question. Why did they butt in? Because it was just to help the Celestial Dragon, or was it to prevent something a whole bunch worse? And as we've seen with Rob Lucci, he said that celestial dragons have all the rights they want. They can do whatever they want. But at the same time, I believe either Rob Lucci or maybe Kaku said if they didn't interfere, all their countries would have been destroyed. So it's kind of a iffy thing for me to figure out was they trying to be on the side of the Luffy allies or the Celestial Dragon. And plus, I believe it was just acting when Charlos told him to kill him, and Rob Lucci was like, "Yeah, go ahead." I don't think he was going to actually do it. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. Only because it just seems like the way he was saying it was more like forced and like rehearsed than like a actual Rob Lucci move. But maybe they're just me. And the whole conversation between Vivi and Rob Lucci when he's like arguing back and forth, and Lucci seemed like he held back on the conversation for some reason. Like he had an idea what Vivi is. So that is another thing. Like how much information does Rob Lucci know, and what does Lucci know about Vivi? So any of my questions I just had here, if y'all want to leave something in the comment section below about that, just go ahead and be my guest. And interference by Doflamingo Moskov was actually interesting to me because one, to find out that he is connected to Doflamingo, and as we've seen before, his father Doflamingo Homing was like a celestial dragon that had feelings, emotions. It seemed like Moskov is the same way. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. And he owes a favor to the Fishman because Queen Otahime basically saved his life like a long time ago. So this is his version of repaying that debt. And in manga chapter 908, we've seen that after everything happened between them, he gave Leo and Sai permission to beat up anybody if it was for the purpose of saving and protecting the princesses. So I'm wondering if shit hit the fan later on in the Reverine, how much will that come back? Like, is we going to see Leo and them go all out as they try to escape the Reverine because of a revolutionary attack? Maybe, possibly. I'm not sure. So, just leave me something in the comment section below. Let me know what your opinions is on that. And yo, that whole Shanks talking to the Gorosei at the end of manga chapter 907, that was one of the hypest moments for me because I'm still thinking like, how did Shanks get there? Did he use somebody double fruit? Did it do his ship fly? Like, how did he go all the way to the Reverine to marry Joa, and nobody even seen him? Nobody called him out. Yo, that was fucking nuts, and I'm still trying to figure it out. As we know in the One Piece community, that's one of the hypest moments everybody's still talking about, like 2-3 weeks later. And as far as a certain pirate that he wanted to talk to the Gorosei about, the only two obvious things, it has to be either Luffy or Blackbeard. And I'm still leaning toward Blackbeard because I think he probably found out some more stuff about Blackbeard and what his intentions is, what his plans is, and he just want to let the Gorosei know. Could be about Luffy because he probably going to try and make a deal to protect him for Kaido some type of way, knowing that he knows Luffy not ready. But I'm not sure, bro. There's like too much speculation out there. I need more facts to figure this out. And let me know what y'all think in the comment section below about that as well, because between this chapter and 908, this shit was freaking lit. And now, let's talk about the Reverine. As we officially see the start of the Reverine meeting begin, my question has to be, how much information we're going to get found out here about how the other countries do their things, and the interaction with each other is going to be more hostile or it's going to be more friendly this time? Because have we seen with the first Reverine like years ago, it was like kind of getting hostile when they talked about Dragon. I believe it was a couple other points they mentioned. So I was wondering what's the themes going to be with this Reverine. So quick question for y'all in the comment section below. And also, what other shocking things are you expecting to hear in these Wolverine meetings? For me, I want to hear like their overall reaction to Fujitori's plan to abolish the warlord system. As we know, he exclusively talked to King Riku and King Cobra about this. So it's gonna have to be like some type of big pitch they're gonna do to the other kingdoms in the goroesi to make them change their mind. And that I want to see how is Akanino going to feel when he sees that one of the admirals is talking about getting rid of one of the warlord systems. I'm sorry, getting rid of the warlord system. We already know that's one of the pivotal things that the Navy has to keep the other pirates in check. So definitely seeing Akanino's reaction, how this is going to reflect on Fujitora is one of the things I definitely want to find out about. What is Vegapunk's invention that's going to replace the Shichibukai system? That's another thing I want to find out about. How would the whole kingdoms react to Luffy being this so-called Yonko or Goku level? And what's the repercussions that Gorosei is going to have? Because the what I'm going to talk to you about next is going to detail what I'm thinking further, because they might try to send somebody to take out Luffy and WANO, maybe Green Bull, but I'm not sure. And as far as the Gorosei, we find out the Gorosei has a big shocking secret. It starts off in One Piece manga chapter 907 when we find out that it's an empty throne. Alright, so this empty throne, it was supposed to represent that all the founding members of the world government are equal. It's not just one king. Like, for example, they mentioned there's 5 kings when they talk about the 5 elder stars of Gorosei instead of just being one. And then, in typical older fashion, in manga chapter 908, he basically flipped it just like it was nothing. And we come to find out the final villain, or everybody talking about the final villain, either the king or queen of the Gorosei, M-sama. And besides that, not much has been talked about or mentioned about M-sama. Only thing we know that he was the one, or she was the one that was looking at Luffy's picture, about 903, 904 in the manga, and that big frozen straw hat in the cryogenic chamber. And besides that, we got no much more information about that. So it's lots of theories. I made a theory myself. As we seen the Gorosei was talking about which light do they think that M-sama should extinguish, and we got the pictures of Blackbeard, Luffy, Shirahoshi, and the one that he was holding in his hand that was walking to sit in the empty throne was Vivi. And before we got introduced to M-sama, it was seen that the Gorosei considered Alabasta traitors because everybody else went to marry Joa during the war, and Alabasta refused and they wanted to stay on the ground. And also now, because King Cobra has some questions he wanted to talk to the Gorosei about, that's more of a reason I believe Vivi would be the prime target to be taken out if they also decide to kill King Cobra, if they ask about, or if King Cobra asks about something that might set off the Gorosei. So that's just one of my things. So leave some in the comment section below if y'all have any ideas. They're gonna take out Luffy, Vivi, Shirahoshi, and just let me know why. Like I said, I made a theory talking about the lights they reference. It's called The Light, the threat to the Gorosei M-sama. I'll probably leave that in the link above, so you want to check that out. And also great, real quick, I want to talk about this great cleansing that the Gorosei also mentioned before they talk to M-sama, because they feel like the world is starting to go off balance as far as with going on with Big Mom, the after effects of the war from 2 years ago, and just like different changes. So this great cleansing, what do y'all think it is? For me, it's going to be them using the ancient weapon to basically cleanse the world, just get rid of all the enemies and start over. But also leave me a comment in the section, let me know, because I think that's going to be something that's the whole final war is going to be about, as far as Luffy and the allies trying to prevent that. against Insama and the goroesi. So that would be definitely be hyped in a perfect way to end this story, where all the secrets and the history of the ancient kingdom and stuff like that would come out. Quickly, one thing I didn't mention I want to jump into right now is about the Joribani Kuma connection. Alright, quickly. As far as with the whole Joribani Kuma thing, when we gets introduced and we see this old lady trying to sneak in, that definitely threw me off because I was like, okay, if she's like a noble or celestial dragon, why would she try to come in there? But then to find out later on that with Joribani trying to come in and save Kuma, and when we get further into it, we find out that Kuma was a former king of Sober Kingdom, and that he was ally of the of the revolutionary. So they used that as a sample, talking about other celestial dragons. And now he's regulated to the point of just being a slave without any memories, which pissed off Sabo and the rest of the revolutionaries that was listening in. So as far as quickly what I think the whole connection is between Joribani and Kuma, I'm thinking it has something to do for as Bonnie's past, like maybe she was just like orphan and he took her into her kingdom, or maybe she was hunted down by the world government during that time because of her powers, and that when Kuma took her in, he found out about her history, and that was one of the reasons he became part of the revolutionaries. Because that probably was the same time Dragon and came to recruit him, or he was helping Dragon already. Kind of couple of finding pieces going on with that, but I'm thinking the overall thing is like it was around that timeline Dragon was introduced and he became allied the revolutionaries, and she just wants to pay him back with respect by getting his basically remains of his body out of there. But how she's going to pull that off, I'm not sure. Especially if she just came by herself. And far as Sabo and them, I never knew that infiltrating the Weathering was part of their plan to rescue Kuma. I thought it had something to do with the national treasure, but it could be all connected to save Kuma and get the national treasure, and probably have Dragon appear. Like I said, with that, finding out about them trying to also attempt to rescue Kuma because how upset Sabo was and the rest of them was about Kuma basically made it to a scapegoat and basically a warning to everybody else. So I'm thinking like in the next 2-3 chapters, we probably going to see the whole epic attack of the Reverine by the Revolutionary Army, and we find out what is the true purpose of all this they are doing, like hiding underground, Limburg working on some type of machine or whatever. So I made a theory about that called the Revolutionary Army Infiltration Plan. I'll probably also leave that in the video. That video in the comment section below, so y'all can check it out. But on that note, this is the Man of Fury signing off. Like, comment, subscribe, and the man streams.